Julie the Whippy Chick here, and it's such a beautiful day that I thought I'd do another porch chat. It's so nice outside. Spring is finally here. So hopefully we don't have too much traffic noise, and hopefully we have lots of bird song. And hopefully Willie will not be too noisy as he's sitting here panting and panting. Okay, so let's talk yarn stuff. Lots of yarn stuff going on for me this week. It started with my mom messaging me that her next door neighbor had been cleaning out and had these 2 big boxes full of yarn and a couple of projects that the neighbor's mother had done and never finished. And it turned out they were blankets, and the neighbor said, you know, I'd love it if someone could finish these. And my mom said, oh, well, just so happens that I know someone who may be interested. So she sent me pictures of the 2 blankets that needed to be finished, and I said I would do it, and the neighbor graciously said, and you can have all of this yarn stuff. So that's how it all got started. So this here is one of the blankets, this big granny square blanket. So I didn't make these granny squares, and most of them I didn't even attach, but there were some that just needed to be attached and then a border needed to be done. So it really, you know, it was about a 4-hour job, but it got done, and now she can use the blanket. So she wasn't able to use the blanket her mother made, but now she is. So that's one of the projects. Whoops. Trying very hard to keep it clean. Okay. The other blanket was this pretty red one. It's a pretty color. And there was all of the yarn there. But the interesting thing with this one was a real mystery, because I'd never seen this pattern. I will hold it up and maybe zoom in, but because it's so dark, I'm not sure that you're going to really be able to see the pattern that well. But anyway, I really wasn't sure what this pattern was. It almost looked like it had a bobble stitch running through it. And so I just took a row that was still attached to the yarn, and I started to pull it apart a little bit and kind of examine what stitches were made. And it's really very simple. It's just a repeat of single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet. So every time you go back to that single, it kind of pushes down on the previous treble crochet and it makes it pop out a little bit, and that's what kind of gives it that little bit of a bobble stitch look to it. So the pattern itself was pretty easy, but I didn't know what size hook she used, so I tried different hook sizes. There was a hook actually stuck in it, so I thought, great, now I know what hook she was using, but it turned out it wasn't. That hook was much, much smaller than the hook that she used. I had to keep going through different hooks trying to figure it out, and it turned out it was a really big hook, way bigger than I would have ever thought. It turned out it was a size K that she used for this. So yeah, I think that's like a 7, maybe a 7 millimeter. I'd have to look it up in the chart, but decent size hook for just a regular worsted weight yarn. So you'd think that that was the biggest challenge of the whole thing, but it wasn't. It gets better. I've never seen this done before. Apparently she had used this yarn to make something else. I don't know whether it was going to be another Afghan and she didn't like it, or she didn't have enough yarn to complete the original Afghan, or what. But instead of frogging the first project, she simply left it on. She left all of the yarn on the first project and worked right from that project into this blanket. So it was just the strangest thing. I'd never seen anything like it, because, naturally I thought they must be part of the same project. And I thought, is she doing a border and attaching it? but this was too small for that. It didn't make any sense to me. So it was really fun to try to like get in the head of another crocheter who, you know, you're not familiar with. She doesn't live around here. It's not like I could call her and say, what were you doing? So that was really, really interesting. And yeah, I was going through some of the boxes of yarn, and I found another 2 half-finished projects, and you know, one was going right into the other one, the same thing. You know, she had this blue project, and it was like a long strip of something, and then she had another project that was an Afghan, and she was pulling yarn from one project and putting it right in the other. So really, really interesting. I'm going to make a little video so you can kind of see what I mean, and you see how it works through. But I've never seen anything like it, and what a great frogging technique, because you don't have to worry about pulling all that yarn, balling it up, dealing with tangles. You just, you know, this is your ball of yarn that you're working from. I don't know. Very interesting, and learned something new this week for sure. So I'll set that one aside. I do love the drape of this Afghan with that great big hook. It really is making a very nice drape, very loose and kind of light. Okay, so this over here, this big bunch of stuff is just full of balled up yarn from those boxes. And it's a good size bag, and it's full of balled up yarn. And these are all yarns that are still in skeins. So yeah, this person, I don't even know her name, that I'm finishing these blankets, had a lot of yarn. And it's just so funny because my stash, I don't know if you remember, but recently my stash was down to nothing, and I finally did have to go ahead and order some yarn. And then, you know, a week or 2 after I got new yarn, there's this huge stash of just so much yarn. And some of it's really interesting because it's old. I don't think yarn goes bad as long as it's kept dry, I guess. I don't know. If I'm mistaken in that, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, some of the labels are really old. I mean, this came from Bradley's. We haven't had a Bradley's in our area, and I don't know how long. 75 cents for that skein. Let's see what else we've got here. Windtuck yarn. I've never heard of Windtuck yarn. So fun stuff, fun finds. I thought, well, with all of this scrap yarn, there's not a lot of any particular one color to do too much with, but great for scrap blankets. And I even thought maybe I could use some of it to make scrap blankets for charities, you know, maybe the homeless shelter, or we have a children's home in the area. So yeah, different ideas for what I can do with all of that scrap yarn. Another new thing that I wanted to give a try was Tunisian crochet. I actually did try it once with just a regular crochet hook, just to kind of see what everybody was talking about. And I don't know, recently I've seen a couple of different YouTubers doing some Tunisian crochet stuff, and it is kind of interesting to me. I like the idea that it's similar to knitting and it's similar to crocheting. And but I remember from the first time I tried it, the one thing that annoyed me was the curl, which you always get with Tunisian crochet, I'm told. I always keep a hair clip on my little balls of yarn to keep them from unraveling, so that's what that is. But yeah, the curl, I know that would just drive me crazy. So how do you get it to not curl? You know, the YouTube search, that's what you do, you know, you YouTube search it. And I did find where they said, well, you need to use, you know, a much larger hook than you normally would use for a particular kind of yarn. This is sport weight yarn, and I think this hook size is a 5.5 millimeter. So obviously that's not big enough because it's really curling. But I found another YouTuber, and this guy is truly passionate about his craft of Tunisian crochet. He explained that no matter how big your hook size you use, you're always going to have curling unless you have an alternate stitch every other pass. I think they call it a return pass. That would curl in the opposite direction. He sounded like he knew what he was talking about, and he also just seemed really, really passionate about his craft. So I wrote his name down so I could tell everybody. These are the two YouTubers that I've been looking at for Tunisian crochet. One is TLY, I keep saying that wrong, TL Yarn Crafts. That's a YouTube channel. And the other one is the Tunisian Crochet channel. It's just the Tunisian Crochet channel, and that is the one where I'm going to watch the video on, watch it again, on how to stop the curl and learn the different stitches, because it really is a neat way of crocheting. I really do like it. It's just, I don't know, it's just different and it's neat. So I'm just going to hold this up. I can zoom in on it during editing. But so that's just my little swatch that I made last night at like midnight. I've got to start going to bed earlier. All right, so I'm going to put that little Tunisian crochet swatch away. And let's see. Oh, the hook that I purchased was Chowgu. This is a size I, or 5.5 millimeter. I got it off of somewhere on eBay. I did purchase a couple of the interchangeable Tunisian crochet hooks last week at my local yarn shop. And I wasn't in the store because it's curbside pickup right now. So I didn't realize that they didn't come with cables. So then, in my infinite wisdom, not so much, I picked up this one off of eBay thinking, oh, well, this one has the cable, so I can use that on my other ones. This one's not an interchangeable one though, so really didn't do me any good. So now I've got two 5.5 millimeter hooks, and still only one of them has a cable. And I think my other hook is a 6 or a 6.5 millimeter. And that one also does not have a cable. So one of these days I'll get that worked out, but not today. Let's learn the stitches first, and then we'll go for the merch. All right, the last thing I have is yarn. I got another yarn delivery. I was excited to get some more. I needed to purchase some more to finish a project that I'm working on. So once again, I went with Premier. Love their yarn. I did get some more basics, so I just thought we'd look at the colors really quickly. I'm going to open this very carefully. I am terrified of cutting my yarn. It's always scary. Looks like I did okay, Willie. Willie's right here at my feet. I don't know if he'll be on camera unless I give him a cookie. He's demanding payment these days. Oh, look at these beautiful colors. Packing slip. Okay. Nice. Okay, so we have got some more Premier Basics. I love this yarn. So Royal Blue and Aran. Got some white because I'm going to be making some hats, and the hats I like to make for the little ones are these cute little snowman hats, so definitely need some white. Hard to imagine I'm going to be making hats for winter, but summer is the best time to make hats for winter because then they're all made and they're small. So these are some neat colors. We've got, I love this purple. I think it's just called purple. Yeah, purple. And this one is pumpkin. I was hoping it would be a little bit more orangey than that, but it's okay. It's sometimes hard to tell the colors on the screen. Oh, same with this green. I was hoping this green would be a little more like Kelly green, but that's okay. It is what it is. Let's see what it's called. This red is just called red. The green is called forest green. And I think this is more of the crepe. And the crepe is what I actually needed to finish the blanket. I actually got lots of crepe because I have to finish that blanket. Like to finish it by Father's Day. Is that giving away a hint? And the last two colors are pink. Let's see what color it says. Definitely a pink, but no, it's just called pink. And the other one is lemon, so lemon yellow. So those are my new colors. Not like I didn't have lots of colors to choose from at this point. But that's all my yarn stuff for the week. So it has been a busy yarn week. All right, Willie, are you going to say hello? Come here, Willie. Come here. Maybe we can get Willie in here today. Come here. Come say hello. All right, I think that's going to do it for Willie and I. And I'm glad you stopped by. I hope everybody is staying healthy and happy and safe and enjoying this beautiful spring weather. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.